it was a true beginning of Honda's aviation. And a year later, we formally announced commercialization of Honda Jet here at Oshkosh. Today, I am very pleased that AirVenture has once again provided a setting for another milestone of Honda Jet history. As you can see behind me, we brought 2 FAA conforming Honda Jet today.
What could be better than having Honda here, who has really defined and recognized what EAA is all about, and that is innovation, pioneering, aviation, as Mr. Fujino said, also that passion that runs deep through all of us. We're very honored to have Honda's presence of feeling that this is the right place to be able to launch the products that they've launched and show the progress that they are currently undertaking in what's, as I know, a very difficult task in certifying not only a new business jet, but also starting a brand new company, which is a huge undertaking. I'm also very honored, for those of you who don't know Mr. Fujino, he is probably one of my idols because he's one of the greatest engineers I've ever met. Last year he was recognized by AIAA with their most prestigious award for his engineering efforts on this airplane. While he's very humble to talk about his company, this was his personal vision. He's the one who personally, as he mentioned on the back of a calendar, drew the outline of what he thought would be a breakthrough product for the future, and was able to convince a company the size of Honda, as you know, which is an incredible worldwide company, to get into this business. And he every day leads that engineering activity along with being the CEO of the company.
As many of you probably seen in the press, but if you haven't, we discovered a very important artifact right here in Oshkosh's backyard, which is this C-47, That's All Brother. Before I tell you the kind of the details, we're here because of a unique set of circumstances. A gentleman by the name of Matt Scales was doing some research on this airplane, trying to find the airplane that led the D-Day invasion. And lo and behold, he found that the tail number that the airplane had still survived, and on top of that was right across the field at Basler Turbo Conversions.
Important to see this plane refinished the way it was. When I look at that, I'm back there. Yes, I'm glad to see it come back. I'm glad to have a small part in the fundraising, and I will definitely look forward to jumping next year.
To dispel those things and let folks know that really our country's more diverse now than it was then. It's nice to have the award with the fact that I did something that with others that helped change attitudes in our country, and it took our Air Force to realize that they needed to use people based on training and experience, not the happenstance of birth.
Actually fly this plane into all 50 states, which I had heard many times that there's a reason why you don't find a light sport that's flown into all 50 states, and all the pilots told me in 2009 there's a reason why. So I found that out, but it's been just an absolute incredible journey. The people I've met have been amazing. The beautiful part about this project is we had an original goal of 20 million people to reach, with that same message that it's never ever too late to follow your dreams. We're now up to 28 million people, so I've raised my goal now to reach 50 million people with that message. After Oshkosh, we have about 2 more weeks to set an FAI-sanctioned world record from coast to coast. That flight in particular, we're taking off from Ontario, California, just right in the Los Angeles area, and landing at Charleston, South Carolina, 33 hours later. And that 33 hours counts all fuel stops and our mandatory overnight stop. The best way to follow this flight is www.flighths.com.
So this is the Terrafugia Transition. It's a rotatable aircraft. It was created by MIT graduates as a program in 2006. This is our second prototype, E2 we call it. It's the perfect fit for a pilot who flies within about a 400-mile range, that wants to fly to a destination, drive, convert to mode and get to his final destination on the ground. It also has a huge safety factor here in that when you are flying, you come into any inclement weather, that you have the option of finding a close airport, landing, and getting to your final destination. Huge. Yeah.
When can we buy one?
You can buy one in about 2 years.
Okay.
We're taking reservations now to hold your place in the deposit line, but we're about 2 years away from production.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
My girl, the Oracle Challenger 3, powered by the most reliable engine in the world. You know, what I do is serious business. It's not basket weaving 101. And if I don't have the confidence in my abilities, if I don't have the confidence in the structural integrity of my airplane, and most importantly, the reliability of this engine, I can't go to work. I can't do my job, because in my job, I have to be 100% convicted of purpose that I can make this happen. 100% having the confidence. Engine's gonna run, my airplane's gonna stay together. And I don't think I could be an airshow pilot unless I have this kind of reliability. I love Lyco.
So when I think about the flight, I think about all the young women that tweeted us, sent us messages on Facebook, and connected with us along the way. And every single one of them were inspired for their own, personal passion for adventure. And it may not have been about aviation. It could have been absolutely anything. And it excites me about their futures and the type of life and the type of goals and records that they'll break and the things that they'll set their mind to.
So this is Wix Aircraft new solar-powered golf cart kit. It comes as a top, and we've got 400 watts of solar panels on the top. They're top-of-the-line SunPower monocrystalline panels. But the goal is to have a very simple kit that anybody can install that will have maybe just 2 wires leading down from a roof that you plug in, and you're off and running. But we've ran this here for 5 days now, and it's ran very well.
A cart like this could be very useful in a campground like we are here. Provide transportation and power to the campers who always need a power. They can come into the air show at Oshkosh that we're here and get around, and like I said, cook their coffee on it as well.
B-17 from the EAA, fantastic flight to be beside that airplane, and that's the first, past and future together. I had the chance as the person who did present me, I had the chance to become fighter pilot, also airline pilot. These are fantastic machines, and parallel to that profession, I had many activities as a sportsman in the air, like paraglider, hang glider, and when I was 30 I did discover free falling. You take a position like that in the air, you exit an airplane at 12,000 feet, and you are completely free, just with a little parachute on your back. So you fall down about 120 miles per hour, but you don't have the feeling you're falling down. You have the feeling you fly, especially when you take a position like the ski jumpers. You go a little bit forward in the air, and if you have your colleagues doing the same, you are in formation with them, it's really flying. In reality, vector like that, 45 seconds. So the idea came, wow, it would be great if the vector changed a little bit and longer. So that's how came the idea. Because when you are dreaming of flying, it's not with a big machine around you. When you are in a cockpit or in a cabin, when you fly. Yeah? you can hear, okay? And first I go really like a stone, in free fall, deploy the wing, I try to take my stability, yes, it comes good, and then increase the power, and just arch, just with a movement of arching the body, okay, I could fly level, and you see the pilates that did drop me, and it's completely unreal when you have a position like that. It pushes you in the air and it holds, and you have nothing else than this little wing on your back. So very, very good feeling. You see also the moves, it's not really something like that, it's tiny moves, very sensitive. And then opening my parachute and landing, as I am still with about 35 kilos on my back, it is still many times my standard landing. I have very good knee pads.
The 1X delivers on affordability. Not only does the 1X's wing design look really cool, kind of like a Corsair, but it folds within seconds, allowing aircraft to easily share a hangar with another aircraft, cutting the cost of aircraft ownership. The second design that we were recognizing with this award is the Subsonics. This is really the first practical jet aircraft that is within the reach of the average home builder, both in terms of price and construction technique. It has really captured everyone's imagination within the world of home-built aviation. It's with great pleasure that I present this award to John and Jeremy Monette, accepting for Jeremy, of course, is his wife, Kate.
Looking for cannabis. Oh, Mom's in the icebox looking for cannabis. Mom's in the backyard learning how to jive and wave.
We have the owner of the airplane, the owner of the museum. This is Jerry Yagan. He is the owner of the Military Aviation Museum in Virginia Beach. This is Jerry. Anywhere, Jerry. We have Warren Denham here. He was the restoration in New Zealand. Warren is a tall fella. Mike Spalding is the chief pilot in Virginia Beach, and this is our test pilot here in New Zealand, and that is Dave. All right, go ahead.
Warren had just finished some other work for me and on some other aircraft, award-winning airplanes, and he said, well, what are we going to do next? And I said, you got any idea? And he said, what about a mosquito? And I said, what? Well, that's very interesting. And I laughed. This was a phone conversation. I was in the United States, I think. And I said, I don't know where we're going to find a mosquito. And Warren said, let me see what I can find. And shortly thereafter, we found a mosquito, and Warren told me about it. And that was in Western Canada. And it was terrible looking. It was a pile of wooden mush. That's about all that it was. And that's how we found it. Warren found it for us through a guy in New Zealand.
So then you took it back to New Zealand. Okay, now, Mike, you've flown the airplane and you know all the specifications. Tell us some about the specifications, the speeds and the weights and the lengths and what have you.
It grosses out at 20,500 pounds, but we're a lot lighter than that. We're about 13.5. Carries 452 gallons of fuel, imperial gallons internally, and they had different size of exterior tanks. The wingspan is over 50 feet. When they shipped it over from New Zealand, they had to get a special container to ship the wing and had to have it special built. It's built in Canada, in Downsview, Canada. It pretty much it stayed its whole life in Canada. So it has Merlin 225s, carbureted engines. We're normally cruise about 225 knots, but it'll do 285 mile an hour.